This quote from the physicist Richard Feynman, it just gets right to the heart of a huge problem we all face when we're learning something new. It's that massive difference between just knowing a label and actually truly understanding what that label means. Hello to all viewers of my channel. Today, we are diving deep into a seriously powerful learning method, and it was created by the very man behind that quote. It's called the Feynman Technique, and honestly, it might just be the key to unlocking a real, lasting understanding of pretty much any subject you can think of. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start by really getting the problem, then we'll meet the genius behind the solution. After that, we'll break down his method step by step, look at the science of why it works so well, and finally check out the incredible real-world rewards. So let's jump right in. Okay, first step, the illusion of knowledge. We've all been there, right? You cram for a test, you memorize all the facts, all the jargon, and then a week later, poof, it's all gone. That is the illusion of knowledge. And it's this dangerous trap that makes us feel like we know what we're talking about when really we've barely scratched the surface. And this lays out that gap perfectly. I mean, look at this. On the left, you've got that surface level stuff, memorizing facts just to pass a test. But over on the right, that's the good stuff. That's deep comprehension, the ability to explain things, to connect ideas, and to actually use that knowledge in the real world. One is temporary, and the other is a tool you have for life. So the big question is, how do we bridge that gap? How do we get from just shallow recall to a deep, flexible understanding? Well, luckily for us, a certain physicist left us the blueprint. All right, let's get into it. It is time to meet the man they called the Great Explainer, the absolute legend, Richard Feynman. Now, Feynman wasn't just a genius who won a Nobel Prize. I mean, that's amazing. But his real magic, his superpower, was his incredible ability to make really complex stuff feel simple. He truly believed that if you really understood something, you could explain it in plain English. And this quote says it all. It's often linked to Einstein, but it is the absolute soul of Feynman's method. Using big, complicated words and jargon, that isn't a sign of intelligence. A lot of the time, it's actually just a way to hide that you don't really get it. Simplicity, that's the real sign of mastery. Okay, now for the good part. Let's get practical and break down the core of this whole thing. The Feynman technique isn't some fuzzy, abstract idea. It's a super simple four-step process that literally anyone can use to learn anything. And here are the 4 steps in a nutshell. First, you choose your topic. Second, you teach it to a beginner. Third, you figure out where you're struggling. And fourth, you go back, review, and simplify. It's this elegant, powerful loop of learning. So step 1 could not be easier. This is your starting line. Just pick a concept you want to master, could be anything really. Then grab a blank sheet of paper, write the name of that concept right at the top, and just unload. Write down everything you think you already know about it. Okay, now this is where the magic really starts to happen. You have to explain the concept, either out loud or by writing it down, as if you're teaching it to a kid. This is brilliant because it forces you to use simple words and clear analogies. You literally can't hide behind complicated jargon, which, let's be honest, we all use as a crutch sometimes when we don't fully get something. So as you're explaining, you're going to hit a wall. It's inevitable. You'll hesitate, you'll forget something, or you'll catch yourself using that complex term you were trying to avoid. Now listen up. These moments aren't failures. They're gold. They are literally signposts pointing to the exact gaps in your understanding. So now you know what to do. Go back to your books, your notes, whatever, and fill in those gaps. And finally, once you've filled in what you were missing, you go back to your explanation and you make it even simpler. You organize your notes into a clean, smooth story. You come up with powerful analogies that make it click. And you just keep repeating this loop until your explanation is so clear and simple, anyone could understand it. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But why is this little 4-step loop so incredibly effective? Well, let's take a quick look at the cognitive science behind it all. See, this technique works so well because it's built on proven learning principles. It flips a switch, kicking you from just passively reading to actively engaging with the material. It forces what's called metacognition, which is just a fancy way of saying it makes you think about your own thinking. And it triggers something called the protégé effect, where the simple act of preparing to teach something supercharges your own learning. And wow, this chart just says it all, doesn't it? Take a look at these average retention rates. Just reading something?
you might remember 10%. Listening, maybe 20%. But when you actively teach others, which is the absolute core of the Feynman technique, that retention rate can jump to a whopping 90%. I mean, the numbers really don't lie.
So we've seen the data, but what does all this actually mean for you in the real world? Let's talk about the payoff, because this isn't just some clever study hack. It's a method that gives you real, tangible skills you can use for the rest of your life.
The benefits here are huge. You're not just memorizing, you're building a deep, lasting comprehension. Your memory gets way better, your communication skills become crystal clear. You actually learn faster, you think more critically, and you build this genuine, unshakable confidence in what you know.
And if you want some hard data to back that up, here you go. Some studies have shown that active learning methods, like this one, can give you an 85% better retention rate compared to just passively reading. It doesn't just feel more effective, it really truly is.
So the takeaway here is that this isn't just some interesting theory. It's a tool, and it's sitting right here, ready for you to pick up and use. So I'll leave you with this question. What's that one complex idea? That one subject that's always kind of intimidated you? What will you master first?
If you found this explainer helpful, please subscribe to the channel and give it a like. And also suggest your topics for future videos in the comments. I'd love to hear what you'd like to see explained next. Thanks for watching.